Welcome back to Rural America Live. We are talking with Specialty Risk Insurance on how you can add value, protect your assets and your equity. And that means not only your auto and your house and your barns, but we're going to talk about protecting your livestock risk protection, LRPs, as we welcome Kevin Charleston back. And he's joined now by your brother Jake is on your team when it comes to protecting our livestock. And man, has he been busy here lately.
He's been real busy.
Jake, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
You and I have a history that's pretty unique in that we go back to the PBR days, and I remember watching you stick it on some of the baddest cats in the land.
I had a slight moment there that it was in the PBR, but yes, sir, great times. Never regret doing any of that. So yes, sir.
Good memories. You were actually right there when the PBR was hitting that big growth spurt, and you were able to kind of be in some pretty productive times right there. Yes. Let's talk about LRPs, livestock risk protection. And first of all, Kevin, why did you see the need to bring on Jake onto your team right here with the LRPs?
You know, him and Dad have had a feedlot forever, and they've been there when the cattle industry took your equity away and saw what happens and deal with it. No bad decision of your own. And we all deal with that. You know, the markets come and go, and it's what you deal with. And so I think it's important when we work with that product that we have somebody that's been there, been part of it, been around it, fed cattle, understands what can happen and how fast it can happen. And you can't stop it once it starts.
Yeah, I know. And as we talk about livestock risk protection, where a lot of people would do a hedge or buy some put options, this is very similar to a put option. Let's kind of explain the basic theory behind an LRP.
You know, the main part of this product is that it's designed for the guy that has 5 calves to 25,000. And it's all in between, but it fits all of those people. And you don't have to be a big operator to buy this, or you can be and use this as a tool, whatever you want. But it's basically a put that is subsidized by the government by 35, 40%, depending on what level you buy.
The LRPs, these are a subsidy.
You
don't pay for it till the end?
You don't pay for it till after it expires. There's no margin calls in the middle. It's just you find a price that you're comfortable with. And the great thing is if it goes up, your cattle, you get it if your cattle go up and you just got to pay your premium on it. It's the worst thing you have to deal with.
Yeah. So, Jake, this is basically insurance for the cattle market.
Yes. This is a price risk protection program that based off the future market value of your cattle that we can go out there and say, listen, we can price protect them out here to this date, to this level to help you, you know, and that's a big asset that brings to these the cattle operation programs now. You know, we can know of a scale, you know, where we're coming into it at with some figures and put a bottom side. Like he said, we're just putting the protection level on the bottom side. You capitalize the top side with your cattle.
That top side is wide open. It is wide open. And then here lately, because of the cattle market, people that are paying a little bit of premium for this thing, it's a really small piece of the puzzle. It's a very little bitty input to get a whole lot of that top side here lately.
You could pay $15 up to $70 or $80. You know, if you get some 9-weight steers, you might get up to $70 or $80. But you know, it's pretty minimal in the bigger picture. That's what I had a conversation with a farmer the other day, and I said, you know, you had a $40,000 tractor 3 years ago. That's now worth $85,000, $90,000. Would you give me $1,500 a year to protect the $80,000 value for a year and be guaranteed it's worth that at the end of the year? Well, yeah, I would. Well, why wouldn't you do that on your only income? That's never going to be income bearing. It's produced. I mean, it has some production value, but it's not income bearing. These cattle are your paycheck once a year, twice a year, whatever it is. And why wouldn't you put some floor on that when it's at the best it's ever been in history?
Yep. And I like the fact that you can lock in way out in the future. Jake, talk about the advantages and how far that can go.
Yeah, they offer out to 52 weeks. You know, right now we got some going out to August, the 47 weeks. But, you know, there was a chance there that we was up there to 282 on some, you know, on an 8-weight steer. I'm pretty sure that a 282 on an 8-weight steer out there in August is a pretty good picture. And so that gets great opportunity, and a lot of guys took advantage of that. You know, and we've come back off of that a little bit here the last week or two, but I'm pretty sure we can still live with 270.
I think
and
so.
if it runs back up there, guess what? Your cattle's going to pick it back up.
You'll
to
pick it
you
back
know,
up.
What I like to say is, the 250 to 270 or 80 is better than the 5-year average. What, $1.70? I'm pretty sure we can live at 250 to 270 or 80. $1.70 is somewhere we don't want to have to live with at the moment.
I think for a lot of small producers especially, they just have never considered any risk protection because that's for the bigger operators that have semi-load lots of cattle. But this is not limited to any size here, especially on the bottom side of this thing. You could have 2 head or 10 head, and you could buy a little insurance, just a little insurance policy on this great big market right here. Doesn't cost much to get. It's a little bitty down here and great big bunch up here.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the nice thing about it. You don't have the calls or, and the margin calls and things with this. You know what your premium's going to be. It will be no more than that. And that lets you make some financial decisions down the road that is very nice to have.
There's all kinds of advantages here. So I want you thinking about these advantages of what you can do that alongside what the LRP can allow you to do. What I see is I can plan my budget a whole lot different. I can plan on buying those assets that or that capital asset that I've been wanting, but I couldn't get. But I know because when I do cash in, I'm guaranteed this much profit. And I can do something productive with that money.
Absolutely. This is a great option for that. We see some guys wanting to buy some of these third stage bred cows. You come in, we can LRP that calf out there, unborn calf. And
wait a minute, back up. Now, I know we can do the calf that's on the side, on a 3-in-1.
Right.
She's got one on her side, and she's got one in her belly.
Yeah.
And so we can buy a shorter term LRP for that calf that they're going to sell in 3 or 4 months.
Right.
And what you're telling me is you can also do the same thing 12 months down the road for that calf that's inside of her.
That's correct. You can take a third stage bred cow, and we can price protect that unborn calf out there. Whatever you think the weaning weight's going to be, based on your herd, what you wean your calves for, or the weight of your calves. So we can price protect that out there. Yeah, that makes them cows, that sure helps in this market.
Finally, something for ranchers. Farmers
Correct.
have had this luxury of crop insurance for a long time, which you guys also do.
Yep.
But for a long time, they've had that asset, and now ranchers can do basically the same thing. I want to quote Jackie Moore. Of course, Jackie owns, I think he's number 2 or number 1 largest.
He's 1 now.
Number 1 largest livestock auction in the world in Joplin Regional Stockyards, and he's a big fan of yours, by the way. He says, this is the one time to control my equity. How important is that?
You don't get to cash these kind of checks in the cattle business. You look around a sale barn, a lot of the trucks are 2014, 15 models for a lot of these feed trucks.
Well, 2015 was the last time we had a good year.
Had it.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that over and over. There's obviously some of those guys have had to trade up since then, but the reality is that equity only comes a few times in our cattle career.
That's right.
That opportunity to capitalize on it. And if you get one more turn on your calves, or a turn and a half if you're out there a little bit ahead on this thing, what's that like? I mean, if you knew you had another turn on every set of calves out in front of the next set, out there, and you had them locked up in that equity position, you get that check. I mean, it comes. Even if your cattle bring down here when you sell, you figured this up here, the national average, off 7 days, it pays off that, you get a check in the mail.
Well, 2015 and 16, that was 2 good years right there, but I only got 1 of those years because I just missed it on the backside of my second turn on those calves. And I knew right there, I'll never let that happen again. Right. And that's why I love using these LRPs. And by the way, I'm a customer. I'm doing this with my cattle as we speak. And it is, I love that you don't have to come up with any money up front.
Right.
Love that it's subsidized, especially with the volatility of the markets today. There's all kinds of reasons that say you have to do this. I mean, this is not something that you may or should consider. You have to do this. This is really not an option at this point.
We see that. I mean, we totally agree.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to have in your pocket. Great thing.
Let's talk about some of your resources that allow people to keep up with their LRPs and to kind of track the markets. Jake, kind of walk us through that process. Once you buy the insurance for your cattle, you get a livestock risk protection position, then tell us kind of what happens throughout the next few months?
We have a website, specialtyrisk.ag, that you can go to, and it gives the weekly or daily LRP quotes right there. It follows the DTN. You've got your feeder cattle and your live cattle, wheat, corn. And so what we do, there's different levels of the LRP, and we say, you look at that level and there's something you want to do, call us and we'll give you the quotes of all the different levels. We'll walk you through it, you and your operation, what works best for you and your operation, and how we can help it and fine-tune your operation to financially have a great impact for you.
Kevin, you've applied the same principle to your ag and your commercial ag policies here, and that is you've built a team of people that can help get you more resources than just a bottom floor on your calves. I've got an advisor with this guy. I've got a guy that I can call and say, hey, I've got this going on and this going on. This is happening in the market. What do you think I should do?
That's what we're working on this thing day and night, trying to find that spot that we love helping a young producer protect his equity.
Yes, there you go.
Because if we don't protect that next generation of people, they're not going to be there. And we want to help those guys, and that's what we try and help them with. And we try and give them a level. And we work with their banker and coordinate. And, maybe we only lock in half the calf crop. Maybe we want to do this. Maybe we won't do that. Depends on their cash position, what they want to do, and how they view it. But the future of agriculture is very important to our industry. We insure a lot of farms around the country. We don't want less farms. We just want our guys to be successful that work with us, and we give them every asset we can to work with us. And, some of them don't use it, some do, and that's okay, but at least you had the offer. And more and more and more, after the last turn of cattle, they're calling us, their bankers are calling us, they're calling us, their accountants are talking to us a little bit. You can't believe the conversations we're having all over the country about this with people. We have a lot of meetings. I have about a meeting a week somewhere with some county at a county level, or we do a lot online. And you can sign up. One thing that we do every week, we send out a report on Wednesday, kind of what's going on in the market. So if you want to call and sign up, you can go to specialist.ag and get right on there, and you get that report, kind of midweek report. This is what's going on. It's a little 2-minute video, and he hates doing it, but it's fun to watch.
I love it. I think you're doing a great job. I watched a lot of your videos over the last few weeks and went back and rewatched them this morning. I love getting your video because it's relative. That video that comes up every week is really what's going on. I mean, you're hitting the hot buttons and topics that day.
That's what we try to do. I live it right with in the cattle business,
Yeah, you've been buying cutting bulls.
You've been buying cutting bulls. I got some cow calf and some feeders, and so I'm right in it, with you. And that's one, I'm not trying to sell something here that we're not involved in ourselves and not using ourselves.
Yeah.
This has been a great asset, 12, 13, and 14.
I'll tell you about a
in
great
my
asset.
operation.
These guys are becoming the best friend of a lot of bankers, but even more important than that, there's a lot of wives who are loving this show. And if they put it into practice, you're not even going to believe the pressure that's going to come off of your husband that's in charge of this operation. This takes a load off of everybody, top to bottom, when you can lock in this LRP and not worry about what the market does between now and 10, 11, 12 months away.
It makes a huge difference. You can make that decision and walk away from it, and the emotion's gone.
Yeah.
You know where you're at. You just got to go take care of that calf and raise it and do the best job you can with it and know that you're okay on the other end of it. Yeah. And you still got to market that calf. You still got to do your thing and raise it and do a good job and keep it healthy. But at the end of the day, that there's some equity at the end of the year you can do a lot more with.
There you go. By the way, his wife has a blog, I think the Cowboy's wife too. So this family, 100% agriculture. You love it when I bring that up, don't you? Because he hates it because she's usually talking about him.
That's all right.
It's good. She's got a passion, the same passion about agriculture and helping people.
She does, and she's a big part of what we do. I'm gone a lot. She keeps that operation moving along at the house, and it takes a whole team of people to make all this happen.
Jake, it's got to be rewarding in your position, knowing the value that you're added, not only to the bottom line, but to families like this.
100%. If we can help them through this and put some financial stability in the price protection of their cattle is a huge asset. It's a huge asset. It's something it's out there to be used, and what a great asset.
People want to sign up. Where do they go?
just go to specialtyrisk.ag. Phone number on there. Call us, 417-359-5470. Sign up right there on that to get our weekly videos we just talked about to stay a little bit in the market. And so we'll be glad to help you.
All right, so if I pick up the phone, I call you and I say, hey, I want to get some of this. What's the first thing you tell people when they say, I want to get a livestock risk protection position right now on my cattle?
First thing we say is, give us an idea of when you want to sell your cattle, and what weight you want to sell your cattle. We kind of go through it, what works best for your operation. And they'll say, this is the level I want to protect them. We'll send you, all the levels.
And the higher the level, the more it's going to cost.
The higher
lower
level,
the level,
right,
the cheaper it's going to be.
And so everybody wants in there what they want to cost, and that's great. It's whatever's best for you and your operation. We're glad at any level. We pick that level, and then at that point, we will do an endorsement and get your price protection on your cattle right then.
And then you send them a bill at the end of that.
Yeah. If you go out there to next May, you're not going to have a bill till next May.
Yeah.
So you know what it is. It's not going to be any more. That's the great part about it,
Kevin, out of all the stuff we've talked about, what are you most excited about in terms of the future?
I think the future of agriculture is good. I think it's important for us that we help protect the next generation, because if somebody's got to be looking out for them, and I think this is a big part of that. The other part is we worked with, I've been doing this for 28 years now, and I got to work with 2 or 3 generations on some of my operations we work with. I was starting with Grandpa and Dad, and I mean the son, now the grandson. He's more involved with this. The grandson, it's kind of fun to watch, and Grandpa now has his iPhone. He can keep up too, and it's kind of fun to watch the different generations work. But that's the most important part for us, is to help pass these ranches and farms down to the next generation. Be part of it. My kids work in this business. His kids, they're involved in ranching, and our whole family somehow touches agriculture. And there's multiple generations. There's 3, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 generations now, just in our little group. So how can we keep some touch with that over time? Because we're pretty convinced that they're pretty grounded, and it's a big part of the future, and we want to protect that. We all deal with it every day.
Yeah.
And so, from an insurance standpoint, we think that we can sit down and work with whatever protection you need, whether it's your farm or your ranch or your trucking company or your
You're doing it all.
Whatever,
I love
whatever
the
we need
scope,
you.
and we appreciate you guys coming by. I'm excited about what you're doing. You're really making a difference in agriculture out there. Kevin, Jake Charleston, thank you so much. Specialty Risk Insurance is a company and a family that you really need to consider getting to know. I'm Justin McKee. Thank you for joining us for Rural America Live. We'll see you next time.